Hello, hi everyone. This is Leimomi, Keliikuli, Intuitive Soul Alignment Coach here. And so I wanted to jump on here and make a video for all of you to really share about a whole nother perspective about manifestation that maybe you may not be aware of. So first of all, I'm an Intuitive Soul Alignment Coach, so I basically help my clients to remove any soul level blocks that may be restricting them by aligning to their unique soul's divine soul blueprints. And so if you have been listening to me, I maybe have been saying it over and over like a broken record, that the key to success is aligning to your unique soul's gifts. And I'm really talking about your unique soul's nature. So if you're just jumping on, just say hi, just so I know that you're listening in. And I wanted to really talk about the number one reason that I have found as to why you may be manifesting what you don't want, and how you can actually, just like like a switch, like a light bulb, create the exact thing that you really do. And first of all, you do need to understand that everything that you create is actually has what I call has to do with you being kind of almost like full of yourself. Okay, that's actually the first step. Is like you align directly to your unique way that you're going to do it. But the number one reason, I'm just going to cut to the chase, the number one reason why you don't manifest the right thing is because you haven't owned your ability to create the darn thing. Okay, I know it's super simple, but it's actually the truth. If you haven't been able to actually like flip the switch into what you do want, you're actually like creating reality of what you don't want. So over time, you kind of like misalign in one thing, and then you misalign with another thing, and another thing, another thing, and then you end up in this crazy mess. So actually, why you ended up with what you didn't want was because you went in the wrong direction of what was actually so aligned to you. So like I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say you wanted to manifest, I don't know, X amount of clients. And so your coach said, why don't you go and you do X, Y, and Z? Like, I don't know, like do some outreach or, talk to specific people or whatever that person told you to do. The number one reason why that you didn't create that client or that sale or whatever that was because number one was you kind of followed what they said. And normally they're coming from a good nature, not to say that, your coach or whoever is guiding you is completely wrong. Because actually, from their perspective, it's very sound, like it's logical. You go do X, Y, and Z, and that's how you're going to do it. Okay? But what happens is you are trying to fit yourself in a way that is like a strategy, or it's kind of really pretty much not the way you're designed to manifest. So then what happens is you go and chase a client, you go and chase all those people, and you do the things that you thought that like it should be working, but then you get like people start hating on you, or like, oh, you're only chasing the money, or like, you're getting feedback in a negative way. And then you're like, oh my God, I did something bad. What did I do wrong? Then you start to question yourself, right? You're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. I'm not confident enough to go make that sale, or maybe I don't understand about marketing very much. So then you go and chase another thing, and you go and talk to a friend or a sales coach or somebody else, and then you try to fix the problem again. And then they give you advice, and then you're like, that's cool, that sounds sound, I'm going to try that. And then you go and try that, and then the same thing, okay, happens, where like everybody all runs away, you get a bad feedback or stuff like that. So I'm just talking about in terms of sales or something like a specific thing. This can also go in terms of a relationship, right? You end up with the wrong guy that really wasn't aligned to you and all of that, because you're chasing the outcome or the thing that you think that is a right way of doing it. Okay? This is doing from the brain. So what you actually need to do is, number one, you need to forget that you have forgotten that you have this inner guidance inside of you that like you should follow it. So let's say you got a prompt, you could call God, spirit, whatever source, or this kind of feeling, this intuitive gut feeling, that when your first coach told you, no, don't go and go talk to this person or X, Y, and Z. Like, that sounds right, yeah. And go after the low-hanging fruit or whatever the technique was. And you got that intuitive hit that said, like, no, don't do it that way. Why don't you try, and maybe your soul said, like, why don't you try just giving value and just talking on a live stream like this, okay? So what happened, if you would have done what your voice said to do at the moment, you probably could have gotten a live stream, and then who knows, you were just talking and talking about giving something, a valuable thing of that, whatever your topic was, and then you tied it into whatever you were selling, and then bam, you've got to sell, right? Why did that work? Because it was soul aligned action that you just did. Does it make sense? This is soul alignment. It's really simple, but this is the number one thing as to why we end up like creating misaligning experiences that get you even more misaligned, and then you end up with like 10 billion things that you don't want to manifest. So the only way to get out of it, the fastest way, is listen to what you are being asked to do at the moment. Like your soul is saying, like, go to the gym, or I don't know whatever the first thing that comes to your mind that feels right, that feels in alignment to that action, and it really, really came from your heart. You're going to notice that the thing actually leads you into other things that actually creates a more of a aligned reality of what you want. I know this very well because I've been experiencing this with some of my old coaches, and what I found was like what was happening, it was pulling me directly away from my manifesting blueprints. So by the way, all of you have a very unique energetic signature, your very unique energy of how your soul likes to manifest. There is actually 7 kinds of like comparatives, like you're either this one or that one, or you could be a combination of both of them. So when you actually take an alignment to either the right comparative, okay, you will notice that the things that you want will start to come quicker to you because you start to take aligned action to that very specific thing. On top of that, you're listening to your soul's voice say, hey, like do X, Y, and Z. Plus, do it where you're feeling like if it's an energy of love, or it's an energy of power, or it's an energy of order that you want to create in your life. And this is what I call soul-aligned manifestation, because it's aligned to your unique way that your soul likes to show up and do it. So, like I said, if you are listening to somebody else tell you how to do some strategy, or to tell you to do it in some fashion, right, which sounds very sound, it's going to interrupt your ability to consistently bring in the momentum of this type of manifestations that you want to create. And by the way, manifestation just means creation, okay? It's not something woo, it's actually something that you either choose to do it or not. So when we're actually manifesting what we don't want, you're actually in your mindset choosing to choose the wrong thing, so then you end up with the wrong thing in your life, right? So it's like a combination of, number one, you're doing it the wrong way, you're allowing somebody else to push you to do what's not aligned to you, right? Number two is you don't really know your manifesting blueprints, so you end up doing trial and error of like doing all kinds of different ways, but it never gets you to the full result, and you can't create the consistency. So I've been experimenting over and over and over again. Everybody's manifesting blueprints, their unique soul's energy, their power words, their unique way that they market themselves, like all of these unique ways that every soul is meant to show up. More than 90% of the population, and this is my belief because I see this over and over again, is we are doing the opposite of our manifesting blueprint. So like, for example, you may think that you need to be around similar people, but maybe your soul is actually very contrast, which means that You're meant to be around people who actually contrast you, and that is actually how you know how to be aligned to your divine nature, your unique nature. Or you could be around contrasting people, but you actually need to be around people who are super similar to you, and through that similarity, this is how we know what is you. That's just one kind of comparative. You see the difference? It's like total opposite. So what's happening is everybody is following somebody else's manifesting blueprint because they are telling you you should do it in a certain way, right? You should get aligned in this way or that way. And then you're aligning to their manifesting blueprint, but not yours. So then you end up creating a momentum of people, places, and things that actually is not aligned to you. And then you get everything that you don't want. Isn't that amazing? Like how simple that is, but this is actually what's everybody's pain point about manifestation. And plus, we kind of think it's kind of woo. So we think like, oh, it's supposed to fall from the sky and, you know, it's going to be created, which sometimes do because you were working on some momentum a couple of days before and then you got the thing that you wanted, right? But actually, you got an alignment with some part of what your soul is meant to do in a certain way, and then the thing showed up, or you were open to receiving it because you did mindset work or stuff like that. Because mindset and manifestation, they go hand in hand. If you have issues with manifesting what you have in your life, you have issues with manifesting. Or if you have issues with manifesting, you also will have issues with kind of mindset stuff, like being able to receive, the capacity to receive, especially like money, for example, right? If you have all of this baggage about money blocks, it's going to definitely sabotage you from that alignment at the same time, okay? So what I have found is through knowing your manifesting blueprints in this way, you can actually consistently create the same results that you want by aligning to your unique manifesting blueprint. So I have been able to find a way to give you your manifesting blueprint, your divine soul blueprints. And so I created this program called 14-Day Soul Line Manifestation Method Program, which is a method. I give you your blueprints. This is what we do. I give you what your blueprints, your manifesting blueprints is. And then from that, you listen to these like videos, like 10-minute videos every day. I give you a specific prompt that's aligned to that specific thing that you desire to create. And then you just take that aligned action for the day. So following what is the guidance, on top of doing 1 or 2 things of your soul's blueprints that's aligned to that, to your desire. And then you're able to actually manifest within 2 to 3 days of exactly what you wanted. Which is really incredible. And what's so cool about this is that you're manifesting from the heart. So this is the second thing, is why that you're manifesting what you don't want, is because you're really manifesting not from a state of your own creation. Most of the time we kind of have the clarity that, yeah, I want a car, or I want possessions or stuff like that. But actually there's an underlying reason as to why you want that thing. And when you get into that feeling of it, that's why it manifests, right? Because you gave an emotional charge to actually having that to become your creation. So that's the second thing you need to realize, is that you are not in this creation mode, right? Because you followed some guidance of some other person's manifesting blueprint or stuff like that, and you don't get the exact results. Right? Or the third thing is like you haven't found a way to correctly direct your energy directly into your soul desire, directly into the heart, so then it never really penetrates and you never really get the exact result that you wanted. So that's how you can switch it, is you have to, number 1, stop following somebody else's guidance. You have to follow your own inner voice and trust it that it's actually going to happen. Of course, you need the clarity, right? So you need to be very sure as to what you want. But the easiest way is align to what you want, align to any particular part of your soul's blueprint, and by taking that soul line action for the day, then within 2 to 3 days, like, the thing manifests. So I'll give you guys some examples of people that came in my program, what they experienced. So I had one of the clients who was very much all about love. This was her main energy, plus also her soul group was like double love. So what was happening was she knew that she was love, okay, but her action was actually not showing up in a way that allowed her to like own her ownership as love. And so what she was doing was she was like aligning to power, like somebody else telling her like, how do you do this, right? Or she was like aligning to balance and like getting to the vibration of this kind of orderly energy, which was not hers either, right? Then what she did was when I gave these particular prompts, she started to just do things in alignment with love. So like simple things like, eating chocolate or really doing anything out of self-love. And then within like 2 to 3 days of doing that, because the first couple of days we were focusing on aligning to your main divine gifts, which would be either like, creation or truth or wisdom or order or compassion, like these type of energies, right? So sometimes the soul is actually like uber like spiritual or super double something, right? Yeah, like double love, Latoya. Yeah. So sometimes you can be double power. Sometimes you can be double truth, like whatever your main gift is, it really matters. And so she did that, aligned to specific things like in her everyday routine, just made sure she had some love that she was receiving for herself rather than just giving it away to her clients. So then what happened was she took some aligned action to a very particular part of her manifesting blueprint, which is she was very processed. She didn't need to care about the outcome of things because that just messed everything up. So she stopped chasing the outcome. And then within like the first 2 days, like I think she got big media opportunities and Thrive Global to, I gotta remember what the things she manifested. It was like really everything that was manifesting was in alignment to love because that was her energy. And the big media opportunities were like, when I look at the results of all the things that she manifested and all the other people that manifested during that time frame, it was like so aligned to their unique main gift. Okay, so that's how powerful it is when you know what your soul is, what your energetic signature is, and then you take aligned action to getting away from the opposite of your manifesting blueprint, because usually you're doing the opposite of your manifesting blueprint, then the results just started to happen. And I'm talking about like not small things, like big things, like money, bigger money came in. I think one person got over $5,000 just came in. What else? Like some other people got like more in the community because that was part of what their soul was that they needed to be more offline than online, and they started to get a lot of like offline type of engagements, like teaching people or being asked to do a podcast or get on a TV show or these kind of things, but they were really in alignment to that specific person's main gift. So that's what I mean about the major reason why you're not manifesting what you want is because it's just not so aligned to you. So what you're doing is you're sabotaging your ability to actually create that result that you want, right? Because you're not doing the right soul aligned action on top of what I just said, right? Following your heart about it or whatever. But truly, like, if you want to create that consistent action, you really need your blueprints, okay? So what I do is I go in your Akashic Records, I go and look it up. I go look at very particular stuff that you need to know about what your soul is. And then from the blueprints, when you actually take my program, you take an aligned action every day for this 14 days, and then amazing stuff starts to manifest. And like I said, it's not random. It's like stuff that you either like have been asking for before, right? Like you're actually doing the actions beforehand, that they actually come, directly to you, and you get the result. Or it's really aligned to your unique way that your soul likes to express itself, right? So like I said, like, her energy was all love, so she got on Glamour magazine. which talks a lot about like routines and self-love, right? So you got to think about, where are you kind of sabotaging your ability to manifest? And I can tell you, it probably has to do with you aligning to somebody else's, because you think that by doing that law of attraction or do that, I don't know, like technique, it will work for you. But every time, and by the way, I've done this too, never works. So that's what I want to share with you guys. I want you to think about that. Where in your life you are following somebody else's way that they're telling you to manifest, okay? And what you need to do is switch that up. You maybe even need to do the opposite of the way they're saying, right? Because sometimes it is aligned to you, right? And then you do start manifesting, but you're not getting the full-on result as that same person because it's not fully in alignment. Does that make sense? So, I missed everybody's like questions. Hey, Shantia, Takia, Jane. Hey, Francis. Shantia says, I tend to force things to make them fit instead of being in flow and let them come with ease. How do I work on patience while manifesting? You know, honestly, like, manifesting is just your creation. So you actually don't need to wait. It's either you get in alignment or not. Because the truth is, like, if it's in alignment to you and you took some aligned action, like, it should show up within 2 to 3 days. Because, I mean, when I align to my manifesting blueprints and then I align it to my main gifts, within like a day or two, like the thing I wanted manifests. And sometimes it's not exactly the way that I thought it would be, but it is almost like the exact replica of what I was thinking. So I think like maybe you're just like sabotaging it a bit because you think like you have to wait, you know, like, oh, it's gonna come, but like you're waiting, then you're kind of in this wait energy. So it's like more of a mindset thing, like you have to wait. So then the thing that you wanted waits, right? Like everything you create, the things that you think about is the same reflection. And this is why it's so important to watch the feedback, right? If you're getting evidence showing you that, yeah, you're aligned, yeah, that makes sense, right? Then of course you will get it, right? It will come faster. But if you get results of the opposite thing, then that means that, like, you know, people giving you hate messages, or, you know, it doesn't feel in alignment, it feels sour, you know, energetically, then you know that you created the opposite end of the way you wanted to manifest. So throw any questions at me if you guys have. Hi Jay, hi Lamorla. I might be missing everybody because it doesn't always show up. Hi Stacy. Zakia says, boom. It's true, it does. Like, if you're in alignment, it just happens within 2 days or the next day. I actually have been meaning to ask this for me. You say outcome and work backwards. What does that look like? Oh, okay. So one part of your manifesting blueprint, Lauren, right, is your outcome. So when your outcome, you cannot worry about the process of how the heck you get there. And you just have to be really specific on pinpointing the thing that you want and focus on that thing. Because if you don't have that clarity and you're just like, oh, like, let's see whatever falls in my lap or whatever, like, you know, enjoy the process of it, it's not going to work. So what I mean by going backwards, I'm saying, like, know what the heck is that one thing that you want for sure. Like, let's say it's a white car, you know, it's a BMW, or it's like something very specific, okay? So then what you do is you kind of work backwards and you kind of think about, well, how the heck can that outcome actually happen for me, okay? So you don't even care about trying to figure out the process of getting there. All you need to do is actually just look at the outcome, and then how is that thing, it's going to show up right now. So like, let's say the line action was to go, I don't know, get a loan, because then you need to talk to somebody else, somebody in particular, right, to, you know, finance the thing. And that was the aligned action, okay? Then who knows, like, you would have gotten there, the right person at the right time. They gave you a really good deal, and then right there, you got the car. But a process person would do the complete opposite of that, okay? They actually have to go through the process of getting to that outcome. So maybe the person's process was like, oh, I'm going to go and talk to my parents or somebody that maybe could fund me. And so you kind of like take your time to figure out how you're going to get the funds. So you just like talk to a bank or talk to some people that you know that might able to like give you a down payment or stuff like that. Or you go and talk to a dealer, right, at the dealership. And then this is how process people work, okay? This drives outcome people crazy because it doesn't make any sense. Like, just go to the damn target, right? That's how outcome people think. But process people really cannot care about how they get to that thing, because if you do, it screws the whole thing up. So like, let's say like that person was a process person was keep focusing on that outcome, and then they do all those steps and stuff, but then in the end they realize like, I never wanted that BMW, I actually wanted like a Lexus. And then they go for the BMW instead of the Lexus, and then they sabotage the whole thing, and then maybe they lose the money or they can't get the car or stuff like that, and then everything all tumbles, right? Because they're not in the process. But for you, because you have such a very particular thing, you just like cut to the chase. You say like, I want this car, I want this BMW that looks like this, that feels like this, get into the vibration what that feels like. You go to the exact point of, that's the fastest way you're going to get this thing. And then bam, you manifest it within a couple of days. Like, that's just how outcome people work. But that doesn't work for process people. It doesn't. Okay? Because they need to kind of go through the process to figure out what is the actual outcome that they want to create. That's what I mean about going backwards. How do you get over mental blocks? That's what it says. Okay, mental blocks has a lot to do with mindset. So whenever you have any kind of mental blocks about the thing that you want to manifest, you have to look at the illusions or the beliefs and stuff that's stopping you from creating that thing, right? You either journal about it or you just have a conversation about it. There's so many mindset ways, so I that would be like a whole other live stream, but just know that mental blocks are stuff that has to do with deeper shit that like you haven't really processed. So when you actually process the thing, then you'll get clarity, if that makes sense. Hi Deborah. Hi Trisma. How do you deal with the panicky feeling when dealing with negativity? What kind of panicky feeling? Like just anxiety, are you saying, Stacy? Because that's definitely a feeling. Panicky feeling when you're dealing with negativity. So the negativity is like somebody is just like stopping you from creating what you want. Like you just feel like there's this anxiety level. If there is any kind of anxiety when you're around people who are negative, I would totally work on watching your own response to particular people that are negative to you. So like, let's say that person is like just mean, like talking about how you don't do X, Y, and Z and have this high expectation of you or stuff like that, right? Then you need to go and look back at yourself at like, why was I experiencing that person? It's probably I myself is a bit panicking or anxiety about what people think about me. So then you go into processing that anxiety. And then that's kind of like how you'll be able to get out of that negativity. But whether is there a positive or negative, by the way, it doesn't matter. What matters is the response. You need to see the response, and then you need to process what is the issue there. Yes, what's up with attraction of opposites? Oh, you mean like being able, broke and worry about money. Yes, my husband seems to block my positivity. Okay. Okay, so you're talking about someone that's in your field. Okay, by the way, when it comes to marriage or somebody else that's negative, they just need to move their body, or they just need to, digest their negativity. So you can't really block somebody. You can't really like stop them from thinking like that, right? Like stop them from thinking negative or whatever. They need to process their shit, basically. So if that person has, pushed you down in a way, you actually need to like cut your cord connections, and also look very deeply as to why that person is reflecting the opposite of what you desire. And actually work through that inside of yourself. So like, let's say your husband, like I said, has a high expectation, like you should cook dinner at this time, you should like, I don't know, like do something in a certain way, like how you cut the cheese or something really stupid. It's usually because there's a part of you that's afraid that you're not enough. And so that person is just like reflecting you that, oh, you're not enough. Like you're never ever going to be enough for me. You're going to always create like this issues of me getting mad at you for no reason. And you should, like that kind of like negativity. So the only way to actually deal with that is you need to either energetically cut that connection by you reflecting about why that person reflected back at me. Okay, I need to work on my value more. I need to acknowledge myself more. And then do some actions. And by the way, you can do this with your manifesting blueprints. Is do some actions that's aligned to your manifesting blueprint. And then with the intention that that's going to resolve that weird issue with your husband, whoever, that he's negative. And like, let's say your energy is love or your energy is power. So maybe your husband is reflecting this disempowerment about yourself that you don't want to deal with, right? I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I don't acknowledge myself. I don't feel really good. I feel like, like these negative feelings, right? You need to actually go to the depth of what that is from, and then take an aligned action to that, right? So like, let's say your anxiety of that worry that you'll never be good enough for your husband. So then the aligned action, maybe in your manifesting blueprint, was outcome. Maybe you're an outcome person, so you need to think about what outcome that I need to do that I want to do, right? Because outcome people just cuts to the chase, right? I need to figure out why I feel not worthy, and then what kind of action will I do to create that outcome that I want. So like, let's say what makes you feel really good or good enough in the relationship is maybe you go and buy yourself chocolates because that's just the line action for it. Or the line action feels like choosing something that's empowering for you instead of what's good for him. Like, let's say the empowering decision is you go on a diet or you go and juice, and even though he eats meat and he hates juicing or vegetables or stuff like that, and he complains about like why you spending all the money on it to get all of this organic food and stuff like that, right? Like, doesn't feel good for you, then you go and do that aligned action, and you notice that he actually changes. He's not as negative. It's so interesting when you use your manifesting blueprint. Oh my God, like how much more clarity your aligned action starts to get. But you do need to know your soul's blueprint and your manifesting blueprint at like that way, and then that's how you actually create the results. And it's faster. It's epically faster. Like within 2 to 3 days, the thing that you're thinking about manifest actually does happen. Okay. See, I might have missed everybody's question, so if I missed it, you can type it in again. Lauren says, okay, that makes sense. Okay, good. I know I gave a whole spiel about like having the BMW, but like that's really how outcome people work. They really have to know the exact thing that they want. I skipped all the process, jumped straight to the outcome. Right. I'm just not in alignment because I keep attracting opposite of what I desire in relationships. Right, because remember, Shantia, like, it's really about you're not, what was the main thing I said? Like, you're not following your own guidance at the moment that felt right. So then you end up like more and more misaligning and sabotaging the relationships that you actually want. Okay. And by the way, if you're attracting opposite personalities and stuff like that, it's actually a good thing because you can learn from each other on the parts that is your strength and weaknesses. But it's more about like, are you able to communicate is what really matters. Like, are you guys working on communicating? Because communicating, everybody sucks at it. No matter if you're really, really good at communicating in your job or your family or whatever, intimate relationships, we have to continually cultivate the relationship and communication. I know because I can be terrible with my husband too. Takia says, manifestation blueprint, tell me more. Yeah, so like I was saying, there is these 7 kinds of comparatives that I look up that is your manifesting blueprint. You either one or the other, or you kind of in between. So I kind of gave you guys some examples with the whole process outcome or the similar contrast. And so when I go in your Akashic records, I actually am able to pinpoint what exactly is your unique way that you manifest using that blueprint. So I tell you which one you are, like either your outcome or your process. Like most of the time, like you think that you are this, right? But actually in your blueprint, you're the opposite, and this is why you're, not creating the results you want. Or you are, but it's like not consistent. And like I said, more than 90% of people are doing the opposite of their manifesting blueprints because they think that they are this, but actually they're not. And so it's so important for you to do that kind of soul line action so that you actually create the right thing that you desire. So yeah, my manifestation program, I'm going to start January 2nd, and I give you your blueprints, your main blueprints and your manifesting blueprints. They're actually 2 separate things, okay? And so what we do in the program is I give you these prompts on top of my soul line manifestation method. So this is where you take what your blueprints are, you take aligned actions every day, you meditate or you do this kind of stuff to actually be able to connect with what your heart desires. And then you take that action in alignment to your blueprints, and then within 2 to 3 days, you really start to create momentum and you start manifesting like amazing, amazing stuff. I'm not lying, like within 14 days, amazing stuff. You create momentum enough within 14 days, like bigger stuff starts to manifest. And then what happens is you will feel this alignment to your soul's way of creation. Manifestation is creation, actually. We make it sound like super woo and miracle, but actually it's your heart creation. And so if you are manifesting from the heart, you automatically get the exact thing that you want. But if you're manifesting from the brain, you'll get the polarity of it. You'll get the positive and the negative at the same time. Right? So like you manifest $13,000, but then you get a $13,000 bill, right? And by the way, that also can happen if you have these kind of corruption codes or codes that are in kind of your DNA and your programming, where there's actually one type of corruption code where, what is it called? Where it's what I just said, like you have this one code where it's like you create this thing, but at the same time you create the opposite of it, like the polarity of it. And that's stored in your like third dimensional DNA that actually keeps you stuck. So these are the invisible blocks that may be happening and coming up while you're actually manifesting at the same time. So that's what I do in my program. I have my VIP, the VIP option too, by the way. The VIP option, I give you like a big level 1 clearing work, which clears out your deeper blocks, and there's usually about 20 or 30 of them. So, but when I clear that one, I can actually clear about more than half of it. So then when you actually take the manifestation, the whole manifestation program, you're actually manifesting even faster than those that have not had the clearing work. So I am I'm starting this in January. So if you guys want to jump on this, it's on my website, leimomi.keliikuli.com. And it's the one called 14 Days Soul Line Manifestation Method Program. So just remember, it's Soul Line Manifestation. And there is the link and then the whole sales page, and read about it and feel if that is really in alignment to you. And even if you don't have a business, it's still really good something to take. I want you to actually experience this soul alignment, and the fastest way is to take that consistent action. And no matter how aligned you are, like in your manifestation, this will get you into the feeling of it. So the goal of the program is to feel it. Absolutely feel it. Oh, thank you, Lauren. See, she's got it there. It's an amazing, amazing program. And if you've ever taken any of my other programs, I usually give the blueprints. Like, it takes me 3 hours to give you your entire blueprints when you work with me privately. But in the program itself, I will give you like a very mini version of it. So at least you have an idea of what to align to. And then when you take those actions, you'll get an epiphany. Like, you'll be like, oh my God, this is how I am meant to do. This is how I'm meant to manifest. And then it totally starts to roll. The manifestation starts to roll in. Okay, cool. Everybody got it? So remember, you need to stop doing other people's manifesting blueprints. You have to stop doing, there's number one reason why you're not manifesting and you're ending up with the wrong thing. It's because you have to stop doing what you see other people manifesting. And you need to start doing your manifesting blueprint and your blueprints. And it's really that simple. Over and over again, I can't tell you enough. Like, this is actually why I get so misaligned from other people, is just because I stopped using my blueprints, and I stopped like taking that aligned action that felt right to myself, and I was starting to like follow somebody else's thing, and then I forgot my own light. I forgot my own lighthouse, my unique way. By the way, my biz bestie Tepsi, she's awesome. She got me to realize that I was not allowing my lighthouse to shine and just let like myself be myself. And that's how simple it is. Just align to your own blueprints, stay in your lane, remember who you are, take that aligned action, and then the thing manifests, right? It's actually that critical. So I've done that over and over again. With myself, and I'm telling you, like, I manifested my house and moving to Maui, over 18K, like within like 2 weeks, like big things, not small things. And it was not by accident. It was really by taking aligned action every day, and every 2 days I was just thinking like that. And then the momentum happened, and then the bigger stuff started to happen, you know, as a manifestation. So think about that. Where in your life you are following somebody else's blueprint, okay, their own manifesting blueprint, or their own way that they've been telling you that you need to do it. Stop doing that. And then start really listening to your own heart creation and start taking that action. And then you will notice that, wow, like things start to move. Okay, any last things? You guys have any questions about that? Thank you for listening. I mean, like, a lot of you guys stayed very long because I know you guys are busy. But I can't tell you enough. Come and take this program with me. It's going to be lots of fun. You're going to see yourself in a whole other perspective. And when you take that aligned action in that way, it's going to feel from your heart. You're going to literally feel from your heart, like, I created this. This is my alignment, and nobody can ever take that away from you, right? That's your manifestation. That's your unique way that you manifest. And the people that actually took my program last October, I was interviewing a few of them, and the main thing that they noticed, that the confidence of being able to create what they want and stepping into their leadership, they expanded that big. Like, it was just like normal that this is just the way I operate. I'm in my creation. I'm just like totally in tune with my own vibration, what I actually want to create. Like, they're like on fire because they had their blueprints. So if you guys want to jump in, there's a link that my lovely Lauren put there. Please come. I will give you your blueprints. This is probably, I don't know if I'm going to do this again because it's so personal. And it's a small group of people that I can really do this for. It might even become one of my passive income thing because right now the way it's set up is I give you your blueprints. But I know there's another way that you can manifest without having your blueprints. So I will be, creating that kind of program. But this was like the most powerful for most people because they had it tangible in their hands and they could replicate the results because they had their blueprints. So yeah, make sure you jump on this because this is a good chance for you to actually know your real alignment. And if you feel like you're super stuck and you need the clearing, then choose the VIP option and there's also payment plans. So you guys can totally jump on this because I really want everybody to jumpstart their year and feel really, really good in terms of their own soul alignment and their own unique way that they manifest. So that's why I'm going to do it one more time. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do it where I give you all of your blueprints. Okay? Because it does take a lot of my time to actually like do every single person's and give you a PDF file. And then I explain to you how you're going to use these blueprints in the program itself. All right. Anyway, I don't want to take everybody else's time, but think about that. If you want to join me, go to the link, and I'll see you guys all very soon. All right. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Aloha.